shared by a user named Kyle R. on a camping forum in 2021. Kyle said the scariest part about camping isn't the sounds you hear in the distance. It's the ones that get close. Close enough that you don't have to imagine them anymore. He had gone out alone for a weekend trip, deep into a remote area with no marked trails and no other campers nearby. He liked that kind of isolation. No noise, no distractions, just him, the woods, and the quiet. The first day was completely normal. He set up his tent in a small clearing, built a fire, cooked, and settled in before it got too dark. The forest sounded alive the way it should, wind in the trees, insects humming, occasional movement in the distance. Nothing unusual. By the time he got into his tent, it was close to midnight. He zipped it shut completely. Checked it twice. That's something he always did. Made sure everything was sealed. No gaps. No openings. Out there, you don't take chances with animals. He fell asleep quickly. At some point in the night he woke up. No loud noise. No sudden movement. Just awake. Kyle said it felt like something had pulled him out of sleep. Not physically, but intentionally. He lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling of the tent. Listening. At first, everything seemed quiet. Then he heard it. A faint sound. Near his feet. Inside the tent. Kyle's chest tightened instantly. He didn't move. Didn't reach for anything. Just listened. The sound came again. Soft. Like something lightly brushing against the fabric. From the inside. That didn't make sense. He hadn't opened the tent since getting in. There was nothing inside except his gear. Slowly, carefully, he moved his hand toward his flashlight. The sound stopped. Immediately. Silence. Kyle froze. Then, a dragging sound. Longer this time. Running along the side of the tent. From his feet. Up toward his head. On the inside. Kyle's breathing became shallow. Because now it didn't feel like something was in the tent. It felt like something was. Testing it. From both sides. He clicked the flashlight on. The beam filled the tent. Nothing. His bag. His boots. Empty space. No movement. No sign of anything. He kept the light on for a while. Scanning every inch. Nothing. Eventually, his hands started to shake. He turned the flashlight off. And instantly, the sound came back. This time, from the outside. Right next to his head. Kyle didn't turn. Didn't move. Because now there was no doubt. Something was right outside the tent. Close enough to touch it. The fabric shifted slightly. Pressed inward. Just a little. Like something leaning against it. Then, the zipper moved. Slowly. A soft metallic sound. It slid down just an inch. Stopped. Then moved again. Another inch. Kyle's heart was pounding so hard he could hear it. The zipper stopped halfway. And stayed there. The opening didn't widen. It just stayed. Like something was waiting. Watching. Kyle held his breath. The tent was completely silent again. Then, a whisper. Right outside. So close it felt like it came through the fabric. "You locked it?" Kyle's entire body went cold. The voice wasn't loud. It wasn't aggressive. It sounded calm. Almost curious. But it wasn't right. It sounded like someone who didn't understand what they were asking. Kyle didn't answer. Didn't move. The silence stretched. Then, the zipper moved again. This time upward. Slowly closing. Until it sealed completely. The pressure on the tent disappeared. The presence moved away. He could hear it. Soft steps. Circling the tent. Not rushing. Not leaving. Just walking. Around. And around. At some point, Kyle realized something worse. The footsteps didn't sound like normal steps. They were too even. Too perfectly spaced. Like something mimicking how walking should sound. Hours passed. Or what felt like hours. The movement never fully stopped. Sometimes closer, sometimes farther, but always there. Right outside. Waiting. When the sky finally started to lighten, the sounds faded. The forest slowly came back. Birds. Wind. Normal. Kyle didn't move right away. He stayed inside the tent until full daylight. Then, slowly, he unzipped it and stepped out. The clearing looked exactly the same. Nothing disturbed. Nothing broken. But when he looked down, his stomach dropped. There were no footprints. No animal tracks. Nothing in the dirt. Except one thing. A single line. Drawn in the ground. Circling his tent. Perfectly. Like something had walked around him all night. Without ever touching the ground. Kyle packed up immediately. Didn't eat. Didn't look back. But he said the worst part didn't happen there. It happened later. When he got home. He was unpacking his gear. Checking everything. That's when he noticed something. The inside flap of his tent. Where the zipper closes. There was dirt on it. From the inside. Smudged. Like something had touched it. From within. Kyle said he never camped alone again. Because he realized something that night. Whatever was outside the tent. At some point. Had been inside. Daniel said people think security work is about watching for danger. Break-ins. Trespassers. Something physical. But after a while you realize. The cameras aren't just for watching. Sometimes. They show things you were never supposed to see. He worked the night shift in a small office building on the edge of an industrial area. 3 floors. A few offices. Mostly empty at night. His job was simple. Sit in the security room. Watch the monitors. Do a walkthrough every couple of hours. That was it. Most nights blended together. Same quiet. Same routine. Until the glitches started. It was camera 6. Hallway C. At first, it was nothing serious. The feed would cut out for a few seconds. Static. Then come back. Daniel logged it as a technical issue. But after a few nights, he noticed something. Every time the camera came back, something had changed. At first, it was small. A door slightly open. A chair pushed out. Things that could be explained. Maybe someone forgot. Maybe he missed it earlier. But the timing didn't feel right. It only happened during the glitch. Never before. Never after. Only in that gap. Daniel started paying closer attention. Watching camera 6 more than the others. Waiting. The glitch happened again. 3 seconds of static. Then, the feed returned. And this time, there was a person in the hallway. Standing still. Centered in the frame. Facing the camera. Daniel froze. No one was supposed to be in the building. No entry logs. No alarms. He checked the other cameras. Lobby empty. Stairs empty. Parking lot empty. Only hallway C showed anything. And that figure didn't move. Didn't shift. Just stood there. Watching. Daniel grabbed his flashlight. Decided to check it in person. As he walked through the building, he kept glancing back at the monitor. The figure was still there. Same position. Same posture. No movement. Daniel reached the hallway. Turned the corner. Empty. Completely empty. No one there. No sound. No sign anyone had been there. He walked the length of it. Checked every door. Locked. Undisturbed. He went back to the security room. Sat down. Looked at the screen again. The figure was back. Same spot. Same stillness. Daniel's chest tightened. Because now he understood something. It wasn't in the hallway. It was only in the footage. He rewound the recording. Watched it carefully. The glitch happened again. 3 seconds. Then, the figure appeared. No walking. No entry. Just there. Daniel leaned closer. trying to make out details. The face was blurred. Not like motion blur. More like it couldn't fully exist on the screen. The edges shifted slightly. Unstable. But one thing was clear. It was looking directly at him. Not the camera. Him. Daniel sat back slowly. A cold feeling settling in his chest. Then, the figure moved. Just slightly. Its head tilted. Slow. Delayed. Like it had to decide how to move before doing it. Daniel froze. Because that hadn't happened before. He rewound again. Played it. Same movement. Same tilt. Like it was reacting to him watching. Then, the screen flickered. Briefly. And for a single frame. The figure was closer. Much closer. Right up against the camera. Its face filling the screen. Daniel jumped back. Heart racing. He rewound immediately. But the frame wasn't there. Gone. Like it had never existed. Daniel didn't leave the security room after that. He stayed there. Watching. The figure didn't move again. Just stood there. For hours. Until something else changed. The time. Daniel glanced at the clock. 3:17 a.m. He looked back at the screen. The timestamp on camera 6 was different. 3:17. Then 3:16. Then 3:18. Skipping. Out of order. Daniel frowned. Checked the other cameras. All normal. Only camera 6 was wrong. Then, the figure moved again. But not its body. Its position. It was closer. Not by steps. Just closer. Now standing a few feet from the camera. Daniel's breath slowed. Because he hadn't seen it move. There had been no transition. Just change. Then, it turned. Slowly. Facing down the hallway. Toward the direction of the security room. Daniel's stomach dropped. Because that meant something. It knew where he was. The lights in the security room flickered. Once. Twice. Daniel looked up. Then back at the screen. The figure was gone. The hallway empty. Completely normal. Daniel exhaled slowly. But the relief didn't last. Because something appeared in the reflection of the monitor. Behind him. A shape. Standing in the doorway of the security room. Daniel turned immediately. Nothing there. The door was closed. Locked. He looked back at the screen. The hallway was still empty. But the camera angle had changed. Slightly. As if something had touched it. Turned it. Now. It was no longer centered on the hallway. It was angled. Pointing. Directly at the door to the security room. Daniel didn't finish his shift. He left before sunrise. Didn't tell anyone why. But before he left, he checked the footage one last time. And in the final recording, there was no figure. No glitch. Just an empty hallway. But at the very end, right before the recording cut, the camera shifted again. Slightly. Like something was adjusting it. Trying to see better. Trying to see inside. Daniel never went back. But sometimes, late at night, when he passes by buildings with security cameras, he feels it again. Like something is watching. Not through the lens, but from inside it. Waiting for him to look back.